Good morning, everyone. Crime, the rule of law, and consequences. And what does that really mean in today's Canada? If you're a Canadian citizen and paid taxes all your life, we fund the police forces, we fund the government, we fund all of these programs that run, we send money around the world. And yet, I'm going to highlight some white-collar crime, and then we'll go down into the other kinds of crime that are happening in Canada these days. All of these crimes happened in the last week or so. Maybe 10 days. Let's say 10 days. The 5th today. Yeah, 10 days. So first, CBC News is reporting SNC-Lavalin insiders bribery allegation spark probe by Crown agency that loaned the firm billions. Export Development Canada, EDC, launches review of 2011 deal with engineering company. Export Development Canada has hired outside legal counsel to review some of its dealings with SNC-Lavalin. The review comes after a company insider told CBC News the engineering giant secured billions in loans from the Crown agency over the years, some of which he alleges was intended to pay bribes. If true, it could mean taxpayers have unwittingly backed illegal payments. Export Development Canada is a federal agency that provides financing to and insurance to Canadian businesses operating abroad. The insider, who works on several large projects funded by EDC, claims it was a, quote, open secret within SNC-Lavalin that, quote, technical fees listed in budget proposals included cash to be used as bribes to secure international contracts. Those line items could total millions of dollars, insiders say. EDC's internal due diligence policies should have detected something was going on. He says, quote, technical fees were part of a larger, quote, lexicon of bribes used within SNC-Lavalin. EDC has denied knowledge of any improper payments, but last Friday it said it's taking a closer look at a 2011 deal with SNC-Lavalin involving a $250 million project to refurbish the Malta hydroelectric dam in Angola. EDC provided the Quebec-based company with a, quote, political risk insurance for the project. I scroll down. The SNC-Lavalin insider's allegation come as a political storm rages over accusations Prime Minister Justin Trudeau replaced his Attorney General for refusing to intervene and spare the company a criminal prosecution on fraud and corruption charges. CBC News has agreed not to identify the insider because he fears losing his job. He says EDC support was vital for the success of construction projects in underdeveloped parts of the world known for corruption. The projects included airports, power plants, and dams, and the EDC loans to SNC-Lavalin ranged from a few $1 million to upwards of $500 million. The insider alleges that prior to 2012, when the head of the SNC-Lavalin construction division was arrested in Switzerland for bribery in Libya, EDC was funding numerous projects that featured, quote, slush funds. I scroll down. He says the problem... Oh, no, it wasn't a scroll down. That's just a picture. He says the problem with the technical fees should have been caught by EDC auditors for two reasons. First, he says, they were listed as Canadian expenses, but a portion flowed to consultants or agents on the ground in foreign countries to help the company win contracts. The second red flag, he said, should have been the sheer size of the technical fees, which could total as much as 10% of the project's overall budget. Quote, that's a lot of steak dinners, the source quipped. In 2013, CBC News and the Globe and Mail exposed a similar scheme inside SNC-Lavalin. Some budget items included, quote, project consultancy costs, or PCCs. The code was used to mask secret payments for projects in Africa, India, Cambodia, and Kazakhstan. SNC-Lavalin admitted to CBC News through those PCC payments were, quote, improper, and in 2015 paid a $1.5 million penalty to resolve allegations it bribed public officials to win road projects in Uganda and Mozambique that were funded by the African Development Bank. Scroll down. None of the projects tied to PCC payments were funded by EDC. Okay, so I scroll down. EDC announced last week it will now review its role in the Angola project after receiving questions from CBC News. The agency said based on that review, it could expand its probe to look at the past agreements with SNC-Lavalin. In the past, SNC-Lavalin has blamed rogue employees for problems with the Angola project. This week, the company declined to answer a list of questions about its use of technical fees on other EDC-backed projects. Over the past 25 years, EDC has provided as much as $4.7 billion in loans to SNC-Lavalin for ventures in Europe, Africa, and Latin America, making the company one of the largest recipients of taxpayer-backed loans. EDC concedes it was slow to suspend funding for new SNC-Lavalin projects, which it did from late 2014 until 2017, as the company faced multiple scandals. The World Bank sounded an alarm in 2012 over allegations SNC-Lavalin tried to bribe officials in Bangladesh. It has banned the company from bidding on World Bank projects until 2023. In the years leading up to the suspension, into our suspension, we became increasingly concerned about the myriad allegations facing the company, said EDC David Bamji, noting EDC did beef up monitoring of SNC-Lavalin deals. We could have, and perhaps should have, suspended the business earlier, he said. EDC only resumes doing business with SNC-Lavalin in 2017 after the company overhauled its international accounting and whistleblower policies, he said. Black box. The head of Toronto-based watchdog group Probe International says that if there's any truth to the allegations EDC money was used for the bribes, it implicates all Canadians. EDC operates on the Queen's credit card, said Patricia Adams. That means it operates on our credit card. According to the EDC website, the Crown Agency operates at arm's length from the government and is, quote, self-financing. However, Adams says that all of its debt and liabilities are backed by the government. It doesn't exist but for the Canadian taxpayer. Adams says the public has very little idea of how the Crown Agency operates. It is a secretive institution that sets its own rules and standards and regulates itself with little public oversight, she said. They're a black box. On one EDC-backed SNC-Lavalin project is currently under investigation by the RCMP. The case dates back to the early 2000s. RCMP investigators believe SNC funneled $2.3 million from a contract to build an airport hangar in Algeria to pay bribes in Canada, according to a search warrant issued last year. Michael Fournier, the former head of Canada's Federal Bridge Corporation, which maintains several of the country's largest overpasses, has already pled guilty to accepting money in exchange for helping SNC-Lavalin win a $127 million contract to refurbish Montreal's Jacques Cartier Bridge. This is the company that Trudeau is throwing his entire government under the bus to save. Jobs, jobs, jobs. All right. To charge. Remember this one? I've said the CBC wasn't reporting it. I was incorrect. The CBC was reporting it. But this is the report. 2 charged in Nippon fentanyl bust. And 2 men from Mississauga are facing charges after Greenstone OPP stores seized more than $124,000 worth of fentanyl near Nipigon on Thursday. OPP said officers were notified just before 1 p.m. about a black sports car that had stolen gas from a Nipigon service station. Officers spotted the vehicle on Highway 11 just north of Windigoken Lake Road and pulled it over. A subsequent search of the vehicle turned up 248 grams of purple fentanyl, police said. 2 men, aged 19 and 21, are facing drug trafficking and theft charges. Both appeared in court on March 22nd. Yeah. Now, how about we put a bit of detail, a little bones on that? CBC, that's your tax dollars at work, everybody, hiding some very important facts. Here's the same article about the same incident. Greenstone OPP sees $124K, that's $1,000 of fentanyl. And on the 21st of March 2019, 12:55 p.m., members of the Greenstone, Ontario Provincial Police Detachment received a report of an eastbound black sports car that had just stolen gas from a Nipigon service station. Police conducted a patrol and observed the vehicle on Highway 11 just north of Windigoken Lake Road. Police conducted a traffic stop on the vehicle on Highway 11 just west of Highway 854 junction. Police arrested 2 male subjects from Mississauga, Ontario. A subsequent search of the vehicle produced 248 grams of purple fentanyl with a street value of $124,000. 19-year-old Mohammed Al-Zarif and 21-year-old MHD Ali Bashar Al-Mani were both charged with the following offenses: theft under $5,000, contrary to Section 34B of the Criminal Code, possession of Schedule 1 controlled substance, fentanyl, etc. Both accused were held in custody and had a video bail hearing on March 22nd. Okay, and there's even more details in, I do another video that was just on this bust because I thought it was news that it wasn't news, right? And it's still news that it's not news. They missed some really important details. And also this one missed some details because these names could be Mississauga names these days, but these gentlemen are in fact Syrian refugees. And again, look at my other video to have more links to that. I'll probably include another link, another news link down here to show how I know that. But yes, they are Syrian refugees. Hold on, I'm going to show you right now. Okay, here is the further reading if you're interested regarding the drug bust and Syrian refugee status. These two will probably never see a courtroom, and this is the last news article that will be written about these two. Just letting you know that, okay? So that's one. Here's another one. March 27th, trio wanted by police. Sorry, this one was March 22nd, and this one is March 27th. Trio wanted by police following theft at Oakville grocery store. Halton police are searching for 3 suspects after a robbery at Longo's in Oakville. 2 women and a man allegedly stole razors and medications, adding up to almost $1,200 from the Cornwall Road Longo's location on Saturday, March 16th. Police believe all 3 suspects are in their 30s and fled the scene in a dark-colored Dodge Caravan. The lone male is described as 5'9", with a medium build, wearing a baseball cap and the word Calvin on the front. The 2 women, both around 5'5", wearing long black skirts and red scarves. Anyone with information is asked to call Halton police. Red scarves? Is that what they're called? You just call them red scarves? That's a red scarf? Red scarves? Okay, sure. Here's another one. This is April 2nd. 23-year-old man charged after incendiary devices detonated at Langara College. Vancouver police say a 23-year-old man has been charged in connection with the fires that triggered an evacuation of Langara College Monday. Officers were first to the college for reports of a suspicious fire at around noon and quickly determined that, quote, a suspect had allegedly entered the college with improvised incendiary devices, IEDs, right? These are explosives. Back to the article. These devices were set up in a manner that they were to go off and cause damage, if not harm as well. Constable Jason Doucette told reporters some devices did go off, some didn't. Nassarim Abdusman Ali was taken into custody by transit police in Surrey around 4 p.m. Monday and handed to Vancouver police. He has been charged with 1 count of arson in relation to inhabited property and 1 count of possession of incendiary material, police say, not terrorism. None of the charges against him have been tested in court. VPD's emergency response section continued to scour Langara's campus on Monday for any additional hazards and remained at the scene into the night. The Langara campus remained closed Tuesday as people investigated. In a Tuesday afternoon update, the school said campus will reopen on Wednesday, adding that those who need to pick up their personal belongings can do so starting at 3 p.m. on Tuesday. Here's another one. This one's April 3rd. Minor charged in Kingston, Ontario terror probe released on bail. So this isn't a crime. This is a follow-up, but he's out now. Okay, so and he's just released this week. A Kingston, Ontario youth facing terrorism charges has been released on bail under strict conditions following a hearing Wednesday. The minor, who cannot be named under the Youth Criminal Justice Act, will be required to be in the presence of 1 or 2 approved family members at all times. He is also forbidden to use the internet unless it's approved for education reasons, and he must remain in Ontario, surrender his passport, and wear an RCMP-supplied electronic monitoring device. Ultimately, the Justice of the Peace concluded that the young person could be released in the circumstances described in the release documents. Obviously, the young person is quite happy with that decision. Defense lawyer Simon Bories told reporters after the decision, quote, I understand the concern that people may have given the nature of the allegations. All I can say is that we do have a very nuanced but enlightened system of bail in this country for dealing with young persons that balance all of the different competing interests, including public safety. This is me for a second. Bullshit. Back to the article. His charges include knowingly facilitating a terrorist activity and counseling another person to, quote, deliver, place, discharge, or detonate an explosive or other lethal device against a place of public use with the intent to cause serious death or serious bodily injury. And there's a ... there, so be aware that anything can be in that ... Back to the article. He was subsequently charged last month with uttering a threat as well as, quote, making or having in his possession or under his care of control an explosive substance designed to endanger life or cause serious damage to property. He is also accused of doing anything with intent to cause harm or death using an explosive. A source with knowledge of the investigation earlier told CBC News that the alleged terrorist activity involved a plan to use an explosive device, but that no specific target had been chosen. I scroll down. A second individual, an adult male, was arrested at the time but was not charged. None of the evidence, submission, or reasons for presenting during Wednesday's hearing can be published under a publication ban. The minor is scheduled to make his next appearance in court on April 30th. Yeah, and we got one more. One more? You guys okay? Just one more? Sit down. I should have told you at the beginning. Man. The Toronto Sun's reporting man arrested in 5 sex assaults on GO train. A Milton man has been arrested in 5 separate sexual assaults on GO transit trains. Peel Regional Police Special Victims Unit say the alleged assaults took place between June 17th and February 14th, 2019. June 17th, 2018. And February 14th, 2019, on the line between Union Station and Milton. The victims are a Milton woman, age 41, and 4 Mississauga women, ages 28, 36, 23, and 20. None of the women were injured, police say. But they were sexually assaulted? Is that not injuring somebody? Back to the article. Mizarin Rahman, 43, was arrested Monday and charged with 5 counts of sexual assault. He was released on a promise to appear in Brampton Court on May 6th. So, excuse my hardening voice and my skepticism, but it seems to me that our law and order, rule of law country is a whole whackload of bullshit. I don't believe the papers. I don't believe anything said by these people who are trying to turn our attention to women wearing red scarves instead of the problem. And I'm not saying immigration is the problem. I'm saying open borders and not checking people when they come in is the problem. I'm saying unchecked, weaponized migration is a problem, and the Trudeau government has done nothing but call people names if you dare question their quote-unquote plan, which isn't a plan at all. Justin Trudeau said during some time in 2015 and 2016, I will take full responsibility for anything, any harm that these people do, and I don't have it on recording. So if you do, if it's on your PVR, please do send it to me. I remember him saying this. I just can't find it. But he said, it's going to be great. We've got one of the best immigration systems in the world, and we're going to use that to vet these people and make sure they're safe to come into Canada. Before 2015, we didn't have this many crimes in a week having to do with distraction and mass amounts of theft from local grocery stores and huge amounts of fentanyl. This is the second biggest bust I've heard. The other one was the brother of the Danforth shooter who had enough fentanyl to kill the entire population of Canada. Don't worry, it's just drug trafficking. Drug trafficking. And, the convenience with which our newspapers don't publish names or don't publish details. The public deserve to know. So I'm frustrated with the press. I'm frustrated with the fact that we can't get a straight answer from any of the politicians, it seems, except Bernier. And who knows how that's going to play out over the next few months, right? Hopefully it catches fire. But at the same time, as I've said before, Mr. Scheer is going to be a huge factor in this. He's got Canada locked up pretty much east of or west of Ontario. It's conservative country. And then BC will probably go NDP. Maybe. Who knows? But we're in a situation where people cannot get access to legitimate, truthful information. The information being put out is meant to placate and silence you and make you think that everything is just fine. Somebody's handling this. I'm telling you, our systems are becoming overwhelmed. We don't have the resources to deal with this amount of people who don't speak English. Here's sources indicate that Al-Zarif speaks no English and Al-Mani speaks very little English. So they needed to get an interpreter, read this story. But my point is, why are we doing this to ourselves? Why are we letting our leaders flood our country with people who are making it unsafe? That's not what we were told would happen. We should have an ability to put a stop to it when things go wrong, and things have gone wrong. I think I've illustrated that pretty well. This is this week, the last 10 days. Go ahead, put together your own video highlighting all of the crimes done by everybody else. How much fentanyl are we trafficking? I'm interested. Please. Let's have a conversation. But why are we doing this to ourselves while systemically dismantling the systems that can reform the people who can be reformed? The people who are here and making bad choices because of the bad circumstances they're in. And let me be clear, I'm not saying that natural-born Canadians commit no crimes. I'm not saying that. I'm saying, why are we exacerbating our own problems with bringing more people in who are not able to understand our laws in the first place, who don't even know what the laws are? Right? Oh, I didn't know. So it's frustrating, and it's frustrating to not be able to have the conversation for fear of being misinterpreted or shouted down and called names. So, I mean, this is factual. This stuff is happening. We should be able to have a conversation about this, and we should be able to have a conversation about what's the best way to stop this stuff happening. What's the best way to fix this problem? And it's not more money for law enforcement, because that's not working, because the court system's not working. So I don't have an answer. I don't have the cure all. I'm just pointing out what I think is wrong, and I'm pointing out that I'm frustrated about it. So, thanks for watching, everybody. Check out the People's Party of Canada.ca. Check out CanadaPoly.com too. We'd love to have you join the conversation. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a great day.